members, welcome to this meeting of the Full Council on Monday the 22nd of June. I'm acutely aware that it's very warm in here, so looking at the agenda, as long as we don't sweat the agenda too much, we may not sweat ourselves, so hopefully we can get through it at a reasonable pace, but we shall see. So, let's just have a quick check. Chair's opening remarks. So I've got four things I just wanted to go through. Firstly, members will have seen the news that Simon Sharples will be stepping down as head teacher of Sandwich Technology School at the end of this academic year. I know this will be met, I've seen that it's already been met with genuine sadness across the town. Although he's only been in post for a relatively short time, he's made a real difference, leading significant improvements at the school during what was a very challenging period. I've written to Simon on behalf of the Town Council to thank him for everything he has done, to recognise the positive relationship he has built with the Council, because he has engaged with me on a number of occasions, and there are others that do engage with him as well, and I've also wished him and his family all the best for the future. Secondly, a reminder that the by-election to fill the vacancy left by Councillor Gray, now Nicholas Gray, has now been called. Election day is set for Thursday the 23rd of July if there's more than one candidate. Unfortunately, we've already seen attempts to create division around this election outside of this room. So I just remind everyone that during the election period we should all rise above debating and continue to conduct ourselves professionally and remain focused on what is important, which is our community. Thirdly, this week is Armed Forces Week, and we marked the start of it by raising the Union flag outside the Guildhall this morning. Some councillors joined me in doing that. I'll be representing the Town Council at the Armed Forces Day service on Deal Pier this coming Saturday in the morning. If anyone would like to come along, I have a couple of spare seats in the car, and I'd be more than happy to welcome anybody else who'd like to attend. Finally, also with some hot weather forecasts this week, I do encourage everyone to keep an eye out for anyone in the community who may need a bit of extra help or advice. Although he's not here this evening, I'd like to record thanks to Councillor Mallet for quickly pulling together information on the cool spaces available around the town for anyone needing somewhere to escape the heat, and making sure that this has been issued out on our Facebook page and elsewhere. So, thank you very much. We can move on to agenda item 2, which is apologies for absences received. Do we have any?
We have some. We have Councillor Moorhouse has a personal commitment, Councillor Green has a personal commitment, Councillor Mallet a personal commitment, and Councillor Pennington.
Right, I believe Councillor Moorhouse will be joining us shortly, I hope, unless he's messaged you since he messaged me. So he's on his way, so he will be slightly later in the meeting. Agenda item 3, declarations of interest. Receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda. Do we have any this evening? No, thank you very much. Okay, minutes of the last meeting. That's to approve minutes of the quarterly meeting of the Full Council held on Monday the 18th of May, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. Do we have any comments from anybody? Councillor Marie.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. STC 5267, verbal report from the District Council, Councillor Moorhouse. It says in yellow, Councillor Peter requested a meeting with Councillor Moorhouse. We have done so, but it's our work schedule, so it's causing a problem of season for myself, and it's busy for Councillor Moorhouse, so we will have that meeting in due course.
Okay, have we got that recorded as an action? Will we come to the action?
Yeah, it's on there. Well,
okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you for the update. Any other comments? And if not, is somebody happy to propose to accept those minutes? And seconded from Councillor Cllr Peter. And if we vote on that? Thank you, Robert. And that's unanimous. Thank you very much. And apologies, as quite rightly pointed out by Councillor Wiles, we do have somebody who's joined us this evening, Louis. So Louis is on work experience. Is it for the whole week, Louis?
yeah.
Yes. Okay. This is day 1. So I have said to him, I hope he enjoys this evening because most of us won't. I'm sure Louis will. And Louis has kindly offered to take the minutes, liaising in with Sophie in terms of what's produced. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item. That's agenda item. Sorry, we're still on agenda item 4. We've got the action log. Right. So first of all, I'm just going to pick out those that I think probably need an update, and that the people are here as well. Councillor Carter, you had a list of damaged road signage that you're going to give to Councillor Evans, but that was taking much longer than you anticipated. Do you have an update on that?
Yeah, just briefly, I'm having problems with the photographs, so apologies, I've not been able to pass that over to Councillor Evans, but as soon as I've got the photographs downloaded, I will do so. So apologies for the late report.
So carry that forward to next month. The next action, this was about, we agreed with the representatives that would liaise with Dover District Council regards their discussions that they promoted to have with us around the Guildhall and the sandwich agreement. Still waiting for a response. So it still is June, albeit very close to the end. I was told I would be contacted in June, so there's still 7 days.
Did they specify what year?
Sorry, I might have guessed. I did not tie that down. Okay. Just moving on. Councillor Marie's updated on 5.26.7. So the final one I was just going to say, which was the Mayor will recommend, this was around the 2 doctor, the marked spaces for doctors, and the action was I recommended DDC Parking Services for the TRO later this year. I've had an exchange of emails, it will be included, so I think that action can now be closed. Thank you very much. Oh, there's a few more on the page, let's make sure. That's included. So that means also 5.26.12 can be closed because that has been included. And yeah, and the other one's still being worked on. Thank you very much. Okay, so we move on to agenda item. Actually, could I ask somebody to propose that we receive the updated action log? Councillor Marie, somebody second that? Councillor Franklin, we can vote on that. That's unanimous as well, thank you very much. Yep. Financial information. So first of all, we've been asked to receive and note the budget variance reports and commentary for the year to April 26. However, the note from the Finance Officer, they're not yet available. This will be presented to the FNGP on 24th of June, so that's 2 days' time, following the year-end shutdown, which will be completed. Now the AGAR is complete and will be available at the next meeting. So that is the reason why they haven't been prepared for this evening, is because of the review.
Basically, we can't, the RFO wanted to keep the year-end open until he had completed the internal audit with the internal auditor to make sure that everything was okay, because once it's shut down and can't be changed or, you know, anyway. So that was done with the internal auditor and everything was signed off and fine, and so then now he can move forward onto the new year, because you can't start generating reports from the new year until the old year has been shut down. So that's why we can't have any
tonight.
Yeah, and there was just no time for him to get everything done in here.
I understand that, and of course we're talking about the annual review later on in this agenda, so we've got outputs from that. So moving on then to part B of this agenda item, so the Council to confirm nomination of 2 signatories to authorise mid-July payment schedules on Bankline. Are any of those who are able to do that happy to put their names forward? Councillor Franklin and Councillor Marks. And then secondly, we've also got Council to confirm nomination of 2 signatories to authorise end of July payment schedule on Bankline. I'm happy to do one of those. So we have to do the second one. Councillor Franklin again. Okay, we can vote on that. So we have to propose those names. Councillor Peter and seconded Councillor Anderson. We can vote on that. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, Okay, item 6, public participation. This is the opportunity for members of the public to present information to us that would not exceed 5 minutes. We have 20 minutes put aside for that session. I believe there is nobody requesting tonight.
Yep.
Okay. The next one's going to be difficult, so I think we'll pause that one. There's a verbal update from our 2 district councillors. Obviously, one of them doesn't attend at all, and the second one is en route, so hopefully he'll arrive before we finish, so we'll come back to that. Peter, your opportunity.
Yeah, the Kent County Council report for this month is Kent County Council is to set up a Kent Water Resilience Partnership chaired by the leader of the council, bringing together the water company, local authorities, regulators and stakeholders with a view to working together to solve the current water and sewage problems. With respect of the reservoir that's planned, I went to a Stourmouth meeting last month and it wasn't very good. They done a report there and they want to extract 22 million litres from the junction of the Stour and the Little Stour. And one of the Stourmouth councillors pointed out that that's where they had hundreds of dead fish and loads of dead swans where they had a sewage release there. The farmers aren't happy about it because they reckon when the Stour gets below a certain level they can't water their crops. So I think there's going to be a lot of arguments between now and when that goes forward, but that is dependent on all this going through, and that it's primarily for the new housing that's being built in Canterbury and Whitstable, but it will have a knock-on effect for all areas because obviously they're drawing water from Thanet and other areas when they're short. So I'll keep you updated on that. Also next month or this month is going to be a fly tipping conference, which is going to bring together all the district councils and the enforcement bodies, police and the local farmers, because there's a big problem in Kent with fly tipping and it's cost £345,000 in the last year to clear it up. So that's another thing we're doing. A new library is opening, folks, and all the libraries are going to be getting refurbished. So we're going to be big on libraries in the next couple of years. Okay, that is a county-wide commitment. The work started on the 299, which probably a lot of you use. It's nearly done London bound, and it should be done in the next 2 or 3 weeks Kent bound. But it's only a temporary repair because to repair the whole motorway is going to cost over 60 million. We're trying to get a grant from the government to do that, but everybody be careful what you wish for, because if the road is dug up, it's going to mean a lot more hold-ups than what's happened with being closed overnight and patching it up. So when we do get that, as I say, be careful what you all wish for, because it's going to be a major upheaval. The KCC, and the last thing, they voted for the Lord's Prayer and the National Anthem. A lot of councils do it. There's been a lot of to-ha over it. I actually go to citizenship ceremonies as part of my duties, and we actually have to sing it there. So it's not something which is intended to be racist or anything along that lines. I've had some correspondence from some of the councillors. Councillor Moorhouse, I'll see you later on. Mr. Herbert, I've passed all that on to Peter Osborne, okay, about the road markings, and I'll be in contact with you about the signage. Okay, Deal Dover Road, that's penciled in to be done. I'm sure you've all seen the email, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that will be done and that will be solved. I'm going to, in September, I'm going to pose a question at the county council meeting about the drains, because they seem to be reactive more than sort of proactive, more than doing it on a regular basis. And I know Sandwich has had a lot of problems. You've had a lot of problems down the bottom end.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so I will be raising that at county council, but unfortunately it's a money thing, I think, but it's not acceptable, because I've seen the pictures and acted on some of the emails you've sent me. Hopefully some of it's been solved.
Yes, so on that particular on Strand Street, it
Yeah.
has now been solved,
Yeah.
but it took 14 months to get them done, even though they did say they were going to do them last
Did they
August.
manage to do the butchery?
No.
Because that's full up with gravel, isn't it?
It's not touched.
It's,
not touched.
they'll have to dig it out
And,
there.
and I think the thing is, Peter, to take it back is, you know,
Yeah.
these have consequences.
Yeah,
So complaining about blocked drain
Yeah.
and some water on the road might seem
Yeah.
inconsequential, but the owners of the oldest
yeah,
inhabited property in Sandwich
yeah,
have now only just recently found that their kitchen floor is rotten because of the water seeping.
the water
into their
seeping
building.
through, yeah.
So that's a real consequence of something that might be just seen as just another routine maintenance.
You probably see some of the letters I write, they were quite strong letters.
Yeah.
Emails I've written to Peter Osborne about it, and it is unacceptable. I mean, there's a problem in Harnett Street just down there where the road's breaking up, but they're saying it's not bad enough because it hasn't gone into potholes yet. But the lady that lives there, Mrs. Daly, I've apologised and said I've done all I can,
Yeah.
but it's just one of those things. But I will fight your corner,
Yeah.
as and when.
And just a quick question from me on the libraries. Would you be able
Yeah.
to check whether Sandwich features within
Yeah.
it talks about refurbishment. It would be,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lovely library,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, it would benefit from.
I've been told by the leader that all the libraries are going to have money spent on them. So that is one thing. I think the last administration was looking at closing them. There's one in Westgate which we're selling to the town council because they want to take it on. But most of the libraries are going to be refurbed. We've done one in Cliftonville, there's one in Folkestone, Dover's been done, and they will be getting refurbed. So, and the reason we're doing that is because we had a consultation where members of the public were sending in and we were saying what do you want the money spent on, and libraries was high up the list.
Yeah.
So we've actually took that on board. What the voters have been saying, what they want the money spent on. So that's why we've done it.
Thank you. Could I open up to any questions?
It's a slightly different topic. Footpaths.
Yeah.
Years ago, we used to have a Kent County Council footpath. We used to have like yearly meetings over at Barham.
Yeah.
We used to have nominated some from the council.
Yeah.
So we used to go to these meetings, but I don't think that happened for quite a while. I'm really worried if you go along the quay
Yeah.
and then you go to the little white bridge there,
Yeah.
and there is railings there, but that footpath there is getting really undermined by scouring out by the river.
Yeah.
So I did suggest years ago, perhaps a footpath should be moved up on top of Vigo's sluice. I just wondered if anyone could go down and have a look.
Okay, but whereabouts is it again?
It's already. Have you not? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have got reports on this.
Got
so-
reports, is it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Councillor Moorhouse may come in on this, but I dealt with it a year or so ago when it
Yeah.
had
It's
similar
getting worse, isn't
complaints.
Is it where the
it's-
railing? There's
Yeah.
a railing down
Yeah,
here.
it's
There's a
it's
gap
got,
now.
yeah, the banks are quite
Yeah.
loose. The tarmac is bubbling all over the place, so it's not
I think-
ideal.
I think footpath needs moving
Yeah.
to the sluice.
Okay, I'll chase up on that.
Councillor Moorhouse?
Yeah, question, I know it's not directly affecting Sandwich itself, but I'm sure many people use the road. An update on A299.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say again, the London bound bit has been done down as far as Whitstable, and they're starting on the actual Kent bound bit. I believe they've done one stretch of it, but as I said, it is a temporary fix, so we can get the speed back up to what it should be. The actual solution is we're trying to get a £60 million grant of the government to do it, but that will involve digging the motorway up. So that will involve a lot of upheaval to all the residents and all the people that use it. What we've done at the moment is a temporary fix. We envisage it will last 3 years, but hopefully we'll be able to get something done permanently before then.
Would it be prudent to reduce the speed limit to 60 to limit the damage on the road?
I don't know. I can take that with the with Peter Osborne if you want. Yeah.
Because it'd be better to have a 60-mile limit
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
over 3 years than have the road constantly reduced to 50
Yeah.
every 6 months or so.
The problem is when it was built, the foundations, they don't go down deep enough, and it was one of them things that they probably took the lowest bid, and now we're reaping the aggravation of it all. The geology's challenging as well, but if the Romans can build roads that last 3,000 years,
Thank you very much. I think that might be all the questions we've got. Okay, so thank you, Peter. Much appreciated. You can stay to the end if you want, but equally leave if you don't. We'll just reverse back to the previous item now that Councillor Moorhouse is with us. So, would you like to give your update?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So with respect to number 57 New Street and the meeting that representatives of STC's Planning Committee and I attended on Monday the 26th of January, I have today received a response from the Planning Development Manager of the District Council, which is, on researching the matter, the answer was not what I expected to be, so I wanted to discuss internally before advising you. Unfortunately, due to the number of buildings on the register, Historic England will not consider Grade 2 buildings outside of London unless they are for worship, which isn't the case here, and this is therefore not an option for the District Council to consider. Secondly, on the community routes van will be on Sandwich Quay from 9 AM to 11 AM on Thursday the 25th of June. Going on from that, on Friday the 19th of June, I received the members' weekly planning list, which included planning application 25/00472, Archers Road Farm, Sandown Road, Sandwich, Charlie Tango 39 November uniform, and that is for the erection of 35 residential dwellings, associated access, open space, landscaping, drainage, infrastructure works, and earthworks. And the comment on there is that the red line and the number of units has changed. With regards to the street sign issue involving the three properties located in a tract of Cllrs Road, which was facilitated by the former residents of one of these properties requesting an erroneous street sign without consultation with the neighbours. Last week there was an incident which brought into sharp focus on why the street sign required removal as a matter of urgency. A heavy goods vehicle considered the track to be an accessible part of Cllrs Road due to the street sign that was in situ. The vehicle was trying to deliver to the stables at the end of Cllrs Road, burst the tyre and caused significant damage to the hedgerows and surface in the shrine to negotiate an exit. Residents spent 30 minutes undertaking traffic management to prevent further chaos. The stables at the bottom of Cllrs Road do intermittently receive deliveries via HGV. This is the first time it's happened because of this sign. The resident who contacted me says, please note it would be an enormous inconvenience to all of us, including the council, should Dover District Council, should the landowner, in his frustration at the lack of consideration and action, choose to close off the land from Westering to Cllrs Road to vehicles. It is private land and the only right of way is a public footpath. So he would be within his rights to do this. The waste collection lorries would then have significant difficulty in serving the properties. It would be the residents to suffer. And they asked DDC, please do not put us in this position by failing to respond to this request. And I'm pleased to say they have responded, they've removed the sign. Then moving on to planning enforcement case ENF/25/00278, and this is 4 Upper Strand Street, Sandwich, Charlie Tango 9 Echo Echo. As it's almost 6 months since the last site visit, I've requested a further one be undertaken. Then the footpath. I received a response from the East Kent Area Officer for the Public Rights of Way at Kent County Council with respect to the condition of the footpath adjacent to the White Bridge located near to Vigo Sluice. The officer visited the site herself on the 11th of March to assess the issue. And following on from that, the officer sent a contractor to the site to secure the fencing and barrier. I've been assured that by the 18th of March, the fence had been made secure. Despite this works, the path is obviously on the move and eroding quicker and more severely than expected. And whilst the report from March was dealt with, this is to be considered a new issue, which the officer was not previously aware of. The site will be revisited to assess the danger, but they suspect there may be a need to for a temporary closure of the path at least. Maybe a direction to council. And then moving on to the last contentious issue that I've been in contact with DDC since April last year, and that's the road markings. So the parking services manager has reiterated the fact that he did bring this to the attention of Kent County Council, who assigned a job reference of 908644, and I am pleased that Councillor Evans has referred it to the Cabinet Holder and the local highways office of the Kent County Council for comment, and he will report back. And I'd also like to thank Councillor Evans for doing something his predecessor never did, and that is apologise for the lack of response and poor service. So thank you, Councillor Evans.
Thank you, Councillor Moorhouse.
I'd like to thank Councillor Moorhouse for his very comprehensive report, and in particular for pursuing the issue about number 4 Upper Strand Street, because we're neighbours, and you know, it's very unfortunate that there are a number of empty properties in Sandwich where the owners appear not to do anything and appear not to do anything with impunity, and that's depressing. And thank you for pursuing that.
I do worry because, you know, it's damaged part of my life. It was never fenced. It was just an open path. The rivers gradually come in and come in, scale the bank away. But once you put a handrail up or a fence, you take responsibility for that. So if anything was to happen, Kent County Council would probably get sued. Because I know I was involved with the Millennium, you know, the first touch of the sun coming up, and they were talking about the cliffs, over cliffs, you know, St Margaret, and someone said, you're going to put a safety fence along. They said, no, it's up to the public. They know the cliffs are there. Once you put a fence there, you take responsibility for it. So they never fenced anything. So in a way, I know that fence is there, but it's a double sword, really. The footpath went shutting and moving at the top of the safest. Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Franklin.
Yes, hello from Councillor Anderson's remarks about neglected properties. It's very unfortunate that we live in a country where there is no sanctions on people allowing their properties to fall into a state of disrepair. And I did actually mention this at the ATM when Mr. Gale was with us. It'd be nice if the MPs up at Westminster could actually take a little bit of interest in what's
Sorry, could you say that
I
again?
need to get a loudspeaker.
Bike's been doing that all night last night as well.
It's unfortunate that we live in a country where we've got 650 people living in Westminster, who are allegedly working in Westminster, who haven't seen it on themselves to take some kind of, introduce a law that compels people to look after their properties rather than allow them to, because the impact on that to the visual aspect of the town,
And neighbours.
property prices, neighbours,
Vermin,
nuisance,
all
vermin,
the
all
rest.
sorts.
Thank you very much. So, moving on to agenda item 9, and that is a report from the local police representative, Sandwich. I know she hasn't attended a few times now. I just wonder if you could just send a gentle reminder that it would be really helpful and appreciated if she could come. But we have got her written report included. I don't know if there's any observations from that report. If not, we can move on.
I do get emails from her, so she tells us the updates of burglaries and everything like that. So
Yeah.
the other councillors get that as well.
Yes.
So that is very handy.
Yes.
It's nice that you can address it.
Thank you very much.
She does actually have quite a few drop-in
She does.
sessions, but age concern and the jury centre.
Yeah.
So I appreciate we're not getting her presence, but she certainly is far more visible.
Yes, she is.
And she did attend an antisocial behaviour incident during the weekend, which was dealt with.
Good.
It's by a run of about 6 youths who were intimidating stallholders, volunteers, and they were intercepted by the police.
Fantastic. Good. Okay, agenda item 10, and that is update from council. councillors. Do we have any updates? Councillor Marie?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Although I'm not now the recommendation for the Folk and Now Festival, we haven't got one at the moment. I thought I'd make a statement. It's the Folk and Now Festival starts on the 3rd of July, running on the 4th and the 5th, Saturday, Sunday. The Friday is the evening part that starts. It's the opening ceremony or the opening concert, which is Will Varley's Mary's Art Centre on Friday. Tickets are on sale via the Folk and Now website. Also, the Folk and Now will be running, as I said, on the square, in Market Street and down the quay from 10 o'clock in the morning to about 7, 8 o'clock at night, with lots of different music, arts and crafts, lots of folk, and many Morris dancers descend on the town for that weekend. So I hope we can all attend. I'm not sure if all weeks I'll be working, but hopefully we will attend and enjoy the music and enjoy some good old ale that they're going to be selling on their bar for this weekend.
Thank you very much. Yes, so I'm sure it'll be a great success. Weather permitting is the only variable factor.
Yes.
Councillor Carter.
Yes, thank you. The first thing is I want to just put out a little warning, and this isn't personal to you, Councillor Duca, but the circumstances around the departure of the head from the technology school are both sensitive and confidential. And obviously myself and the governors of the school can't release that information that's confidential. But could I just ask, I've noticed, same as Councillor Tucker said about the other issues that are coming up to do with the election, there's a lot of hearsay and sharing of newspaper articles that are factually incorrect. I won't mention names, but somebody quite prominent in the town has been sharing the newspaper article as well. The newspaper article is not factually correct, so I'm just asking if people could be really careful and sensitive about the whole situation. The school's been going through a difficult time, it's being turned around, everything is being addressed, everything's okay, but we've got pupils who have been taking exams just recently, and really we're looking forward to a big intake in September, and really we don't need anybody, if you could just let people know not to spread rumours or anything like that, but that wasn't in regards to what you said earlier.
So I'll come back on that, because what I've reacted to is obviously a letter that was issued by the headmaster himself, so that's fact. And the response that I've given to him is, and I'll share it with councillors, is very professional, very focused on him. It isn't of any relevance to the media interest in this. And the reality, because you've already just touched on it, Simon was very effective in the 2 to 3 years that he's been with us and made a real difference in that school, and you've just said that. So that's what I've recognised in terms of writing to him, and I thanked him for what he's done, and associating himself with the council as well, which is great. So it will be a loss. Anything else that exists or doesn't exist is not really within anybody's minds here, I hope. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't control everybody outside of this room. We can't control anybody outside this room. Yeah, in this room.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for that.
Especially Councillor Frank.
I've been up the White Mill, and the volunteers there, the reception area, they're putting a new roof on that, they're doing a lovely job. The young chap that's working inside the mill, because they're taking out all the internal woodwork, all the sieves and everything, and he's making new equipment. I do encourage people to go and have a look what they're up to. They actually got another big diesel engine, because if you ever they've got a thrashing machine outside, and they're going to get this other diesel up to get the thrashing machine going eventually. So it's all positive for White Mill. Fantastic volunteers.
Threshing and old threshing. And when you refer to him as young chap, is that relative, or is he going a young chap? Because most people there are my age.
No,
So he's probably going to be younger.
Unfortunately, he's in his mid-20s.
Mid-20s?
But he's profoundly deaf. He's very talented, but he can't get a job because no one will take him on their companies. So we're volunteering up there,
Fantastic.
and so everyone wants to we might do our bits around here, you know, eventually once he's done up there, because he's a fantastic young, very skilled.
Fantastic.
I'll just have one last one. I'm sorry, I didn't know if yourself or any of the other councillors have mentioned about the lovely time we had at the Brightening Sea Blessing the Waters.
You can, but I'm coming on to that.
Is that,
as
oh
well,
sorry,
but you
I didn't
can.
want to spoil your glory for that, but obviously Councillor Tuka, Councillor Ripley and Councillor Marie, myself and Councillor Mrs Carter had an absolutely wonderful time supporting the Brightening Sea Limb. We had a nice little march down High Street. We had some speeches, including one from our very own mayor, which was very nice. I think it was the biggest crowd I've ever seen up there. And then, of course, we did we undertook the tradition of going out in the boats, making a din, and having a toast of gun ho to the blessing of the waters that come under Brightening Sea. But it was a very exceptional day and very enjoyable day, and I think it's so nice to see these strong ties with the limb of Brightening Sea. The limb of Fordwich was there, the Mayor of Fordwich was there as well, so there was conversations with the Mayor of Fordwich. It's nice to time with them, and it's just a shame that, you know, the connection with SAR is a bit broken at the moment, but hopefully we can address that in the future. So
Okay, thank you.
I'll hand over to.
Yeah, so just a couple of, well, I had three things. So the final was Brightening Sea, but thank you to those that travelled in the car with us, and thank you to Councillor Franklin who didn't travel in the car with us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I tell you what, I had my most peaceful drive back. People were snoozing on the way back.
You missed the history lesson, didn't you?
Councillor Franklin is full of Duracell batteries that do not run flat when you travel in the car with him, that's for sure.
Yeah, make up for Tuesday day, won't you?
Yeah, there's just a sort of a segue from that visit is that I'm planning, so each year the Brightening Sea invites the mayor for an annual mayor's visit. That is likely to be in the middle of August. And that involves getting a chance to tour the town, meet with the Brightening Sea representatives and enjoy a reception. So if any councillor, particularly any councillor hasn't been before, I will be travelling there. If you'd like to join me, please let me know. This is a great chance to visit one of our limb ports. And Brightening Sea, actually, on a sunny day, there's nowhere better. So it's a lovely harbour and well worth the visit.
Now, just going to say,
Yep.
years ago, the mayor and mayoress, we actually took sweets to give to the
Did.
school children, but it's not allowed now.
No, it's not.
The
Health and
sweets are
safety.
from
Health and safety.
It's terrible, isn't it?
It is.
I can't give
Okay,
kids sweets.
two other very quick things. Over the last few weeks, I've had the pleasure of visiting two of our twin towns. I was a guest of the Mayor of Reims for their annual Fertile Festival, and that involved 32.5 kilometres of many residents of the town walking with the relics of their saint from their Catholic church. Fortunately, I was in a horse-drawn carriage, so it's fantastic. I didn't have to walk 32.5 kilometres, but we did, in the carriage, we did full route, so it was a really great day. And then the following weekend, I joined the Sonsbeck Twinning Association on their visit to Sonsbeck, and that was really good as well. And I actually stayed with the mayor and her family, so that was really nice. And then finally, I recently met with senior representatives from Royal St George's and Royal Cinque Ports golf clubs to discuss the championship golf events that they're coming up over the next few years. They really do want to link better into the town. They recognise there's opportunities there for tourism, and they're hopefully going to come back to me with some proposals around that. So they do really want to, and so for example, the development on the other side of the toll bridge actually has been bought by them, by the McGurk family, so that that will be developed eventually is linked into the golf club, because they think there's an opportunity for some more luxurious sleeping accommodation in the town. So they are aware and want to get involved in Sandwich and helping it improve the tourism offer.
Very interesting that, because in the tourism forum we try and get close to them. Prince's has been much more welcoming than the Royals. The fact that now the Royals are I'd be very appreciative if someone could perhaps turn up on the 2nd of September, when we've got the next tourism forum meeting. That would be very helpful if they could do
Yeah,
that.
they did approach me, so
Yeah, I
so
understand.
they opened the door. They opened the door.
Yeah, well, that's
saying
great.
yes, so it may be possible.
Just to say, it's very encouraging that the Royal and Ancient are actually coming and approaching us.
Yes, it
It's
was
the first time. Have they given any indication of when the next Open Golf Championship is going to be?
They sent me a list of all the championships they've got over the next few years, and there's quite a lot happening, so I'll share that around.
We it was sorry, apologies, Mr. Mayor. It was 2020 last time, but it was a year later because due to COVID. It's going to be 2030.
Yeah.
It's every 10 years.
Sorry, they haven't got a date for the actual
the week, yeah.
championship, but they've got a number of other championships involving younger people, involving female golfers. They've got a lot of activity, but they haven't got the gold prize yet in terms of the date.
I think it's Women's Open next year, isn't it? That's St Paul's.
Yeah, which is prestigious.
Oh, I was just going to say there was a coach down the Royal Ancient at the local hotel Sunday. So there's a crowd of people that I would imagine that all the officials come down to check all the dates and checking all the facilities, which is absolutely really positive, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, it might appear 10 years, but it's not. We've had it actually 4 years apart in the past.
Oh, okay.
So there is, yeah, I know it's been happening every 10 years recently, but it doesn't always follow like that.
Yep. I should also report back that I attended the civic service in Faversham on Sunday the 7th of June with the Deputy Mayoress. It was an interesting day out, only 40 minutes long. So. St Mary of Charity Church in Faversham, yeah.
Thank you for doing that, Councillor Wiles. Okay, we move on. So on to the first meaty substantial piece, which is the annual governance annual return for 25-26. So the town clerk, I assume you will be taking us through this. Now there are various sections, so do you want to do each of them and then sign them off before we move on to the next one? Will that be all right, I think?
Yeah, I mean, the first three are really internal documents that support the governance, the AGAR, which is sections 4, 5 and 6 and 7. So the first one is to consider the report from the town clerk regarding the internal audit. Well, I mean, the report is the internal audit report. It's there for you to read, and if anybody's got any comments on that, otherwise receive and approve it, that'd be great.
So before we receive and approve it, what I wanted to say is thanks to, I mean, we've had a lot of transition over the last year. We've had a finance officer that came in, has found things that they certainly wanted to do differently and might have been based on things needing to be improved. But whatever the circumstances are, the great thing is the outcome is very positive. There are no failings in terms of the return itself. There are suggestions and things that can be done, but actually it's a very positive report that we've received. So thank you to the town clerk, but also to the finance officer as well, particularly. Any other comments? If not, we'll receive them.
We'll come on to the risk register, will we?
Yes, that's separate.
Thank you.
So could I propose that we receive and consider the reports? Are we going to just deal with the first one first?
I think we need to do all of these separately.
Okay, so
they're all quite big.
I'm happy to propose that we receive and consider the report from Town Clerk, which is based on the letter that we've got from Mulberry's. Seconded from Councillor Marie. Good vote on that. Thank you for helping me finish that off. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. We've then been asked to review and approve a statement of internal control for year ending 31st of March 2026.
Opposed?
Opposed, Councillor Marie.
Seconded.
Councillor Peter. And votes on that. That's unanimous as well. And thirdly, right, okay, so do you want to take us through the risk register first before we consider reviewing and approving it, or are there any comments from anybody?
I think it's the same as it was in January. There are a few minor comments that I made in red that are there just to give people updates, but otherwise it's unchanged.
I'm just making sure I've not made any comments, but Councillor Back first.
Yeah, I'm just concerned the number of times we've got a a red marking opposite our IT systems and the use of the cloud. It's easy to say, well, we've got to have the cloud as well. Is this something that we're pursuing very actively? Because according to this seems to be some of our worst risks.
Can you read out any particular risks that you want to focus on?
Yeah, certainly. Looking at it, STC risk register, or am I at the wrong one?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
15. And where was the next one? I had another one. Sorry, powering through.
18.
I think, sorry, my apologies, it was just 15.
Yeah.
And
So, I mean, obviously,
sorry, it's 6 as well.
Oh, right.
They are closely linked.
Okay. Well, let me talk about 15 to start with as a risk. I mean, obviously, there's a couple of us at least in here who've got work experience in the IT community. Any information that goes into the cloud, you have to make sure you've got robust arrangements in place. And we are using a reputable, national recognised IT service provider, and that's recognised as one of the mitigation actions against it. I'm just wondering, what else do you think might be missing, if anything?
Well, it's got it as one of the highest risk ratings.
Well, yes, it
Well,
would be.
no, the cloud is the mitigation.
Sorry?
The cloud, having the data stored in the cloud is the mitigation, because our data is stored by Microsoft in the cloud.
Yes, I appreciate that and the mitigation actions, but to say the fact they are two of the highest risk ratings is still an area of concern. I would have thought if we're really happy with all of this, the risk rating would have gone down from 6 maybe to 5 or 4.
So the 6 is a multiplier of the 2 times 3. The impact is what's recognised, and that's what scores 3. So that, you know, the impact you normally wouldn't be able to change unless you had an alternative solution. So the impact is the impact, because we are putting information into the cloud. The likelihood is 2, not higher than that. But when you multiply that makes 6. It makes a high score, of course. I'm not sure what else we can do, because we are using a reputable supplier. You won't be using systems in like servers that we have ourselves. It has to go into the cloud nowadays. That's how IT is run. The Councillor may have some information.
Yeah, I was just going to say this is general rule of thumb now. So the railway company I work for, we had 1 cyber engineer or officer. We've now got a team of 5. It's the risk due to the current volatility in the whole world, and in particular with Russian intervention, it is a high risk rating. So with the railway company, where they recently laid off a number of staff, the only area that was recruited for was cyber management. That went from 1 person to 5 people. If it's all being either put into the cloud via the AWS Amazon service or MSP Microsoft service, you have got guarantees and liabilities with both those companies, and some of the biggest metropolitan police, all sorts of people use exactly the same service. So I think the risk rating is just relevant to the global aspect that we're undertaking currently.
And we have mitigation actions in place. I mean,
I appreciate that.
On to number 6, that's number 6 you've flagged up. I mean, there's quite a list of mitigating actions that we have in place already. That involves the staff here. So the ways in which, should that risk be realised, then we do have alternative methods of managing the data that we need. Because if we didn't have those mitigation actions, and we did have business continuity being broken, then we wouldn't be able to operate. You can't take the impact any lower, because that's where the data is stored.
I've done risk registers.
And I'm sure Councillor as well.
Indeed, yeah.
And on the railway.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much. Any other comments on the risks?
Happy to recommend the risk register.
Anybody else second? Councillor Marie? one against.
Oh,
Alright. We're just mixing up the evening. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so then we move on to number 4. Consider the findings of the review of the effectiveness of the system of internal control. Page 3 of the annual governance and accountability return for the year ending 31st March 2026. Statement of internal control to be read by the town clerk and council asked to approve.
okay. So, we acknowledge as members of Sandwich Town Council our responsibility to ensure that there is a sound system of internal control, including arrangements for the preparation of accounting statements. We confirm to our best of our knowledge and belief that with respect to the accounting statements for the year ending 31st of March 2026, that now these statements actually match up to the internal audit report. So these are taken, you have to agree them, but they match up with the statements on the report. Where are we? Okay. Yes. So, section 10. So here we are, annual governance statement. So page 11 of 19 of the internal audit report. So we have put in place arrangements for the effective management, financial management during the year for preparation of the statement of accounts. The internal auditor says we can say yes, accounts follows latest accounts audit regulations and practitioners' guide recommendations. Number 2, we maintained an adequate system of internal control, including measures designed to prevent and detect fraud and corruption, and reviewed its effectiveness. The internal auditor says this is a yes, there is regular reporting of financial transactions and accounting summaries, offering the opportunity for scrutiny. Number 3, we have assured ourselves that there are no matters of actual or potential non-compliance with laws, regulations and proper practices that could have a significant financial effect on the ability of this authority to conduct its business or manage its finances. Yes, the clerk advises the council in respect of its legal powers. 4, we have provided proper opportunity during the year for the exercise of electors' rights in accordance with the requirements of the accounts and audit regulations. Yes, the requirements and timescales for 24-25 year end were followed. Number 5, we carried out the assessment of the risks facing this authority and took appropriate steps to manage those risks, including the introduction of internal controls and or external insurance cover where required. Yes, the council has a risk management scheme and appropriate external insurance. 6, we maintained throughout the year an adequate and effective system of internal audit of the accounting records and control systems. Yes, the council has appointed an independent and competent internal auditor. Number 7, we took appropriate action on all matters raised in reports from the internal and external audit. Yes, matters raised in internal and external audit reports have been addressed.
That's right.
Number 8, we considered whether any litigation, liabilities, or commitments, events, or transactions occurring either during or after the year end have a financial impact on this authority, and where appropriate to include them in the accounting statements. Yes, no matters were raised during the internal audit visits. Trust funds, including charitable, in our capacity as the sole managing trustee, we discharged our accountability responsibilities for the funds, assets, including financial reporting, and if required, independent examination or audit. Yes, the council's met its responsibilities as a trustee. Number 10, this is the new one for this year. We have put in place arrangements for the effective IT and data management in accordance with proper practices during the year under review. Yes, the council has met the requirements of governance assertion 10. So, if you're happy to approve it, then the chair and the clerk will sign it.
So, first to approve.
Happy to second. Councillor reconvene essentially second.
Hang on.
Vote on that. That's good. Thank you very much, Mr. Unanimous.
Marie. So if you could sign there, please. And then I'm signing it too. read all of those out, as long, if you are happy with them, the accounting statements, then the mayor can, you can approve those and then the mayor can sign them.
Opposed?
We have to second, Councillor again. Those on those? That's unanimous as well. Councillor Wiles, you happy with that?
Yep.
Yep, thank you very much.
And it needs to be signed.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Right, that's it. And then, can we please set the dates for the exercise of the electors' rights, the 25th of June to the 5th of August. The internal auditor has checked that those dates are fine, and the announcement will go up on the 24th. That just gives us tomorrow to get all this stuff tidied up, and then 24th will be the notes up.
Opposed? Councillor Ray, I'm happy to second. Those on that? Thank you, that's unanimous. Great. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 12, that's the date of the annual town council meeting and the mayor making for 2027. So I'd like to thank Councillor Franklin for flagging this up for the next time. This was about separating out the two so as we would have a more sensible approach to the whole series of events. So any comments first before we vote on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to, Councillor Franklin would say this as well, it's just a traditional thing that the mayor making and ATCM was always on Thursday, so I'd like to propose that it's on Thursday the 13th next year to maintain that tradition, and that's what I'd like to take forward. Thank you.
So tonight's recommendation is about separating it out, so you've just said you want to keep
Oh
them
yeah,
together.
sorry, to separate that out into the two meetings.
Yes.
Are we having one at 6 o'clock and one at 7 o'clock, is that?
No, it's on two separate
Two separate evenings, super, that's okay. The ATCM I would propose on Wednesday the 12th of May 2027 at 6 p.m. And the mayor making, which is the traditional one that I was really proposing putting forward, would be Thursday the 13th of May 2027 at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So there's that separation between those two meetings, and it's more relaxed, and I suggest that it'd probably be much more enjoyable for who's ever taking up the mantles of office there.
And that's flagged up a good point. So I think the 12th of May is currently suggesting 6 p.m, but there wouldn't be any reason. The reason we've done 6 p.m. in the past, unless is it a legal requirement? Right, can't change that then.
That's it.
So it stays at 6 p.m, but the Thursday can be 7 p.m.
7 p.m, yeah.
rather than 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Because it's a ceremony rather than.
It just gives, sorry to interrupt, it just gives with the ceremony, and there's people perhaps that might come after work or something like that, gives them time to attend.
Yeah, the first one, no, we've always done it on a Monday, a lot of the ceremony, you know. The thing is, I'd also like, I don't mind this, it's all got changed since we had the last class, and apparently after hundreds of years we've been doing it all wrong, like local government changes the board's regulations. We always did it on the same night. We always had the mayor making we used to be in here actually, and then we moved it down to the corner because there's so many people wanted to attend it. So now we do the actual formal piece of mayor making, then we have the ceremony. The thing is, I've always liked it when we've had an informal meeting of councillors to get the nominations in, because we have had it in the past, someone that was proposed to be a mayor, and when they come to the actual meeting, they weren't. So they had their friends here. So I still think we should have like an informal, so the mayor or the proposed mayor has a chance to invite their friends and family to actually come to the mayor making ceremony.
I think we're going to build that in, but I will allow town clerk to come back. I know we shouldn't do that, but Councillor Marine.
Yeah, so going on further to what Councillor Franklin said, so obviously the ATCM is a legal requirement, obviously. So does that make it so, I want to clarify, so if we, as what Councillor Franklin said about previous mayors that have been ousted on the day, have that, which has happened, when this council elects a new mayor, will that be legally binding within the minutes?
Yes, so
So the legally binding bit
Yeah.
happens at the ATC.
Okay, so then just to clarify, so if other councillors within those two that or that
You
24-hour
can't
period
come
don't
the next
like it.
night and change
Exactly.
your
No,
mind.
no, no, no. It's purely for show,
Yeah.
and for fun,
Yeah.
and to celebrate the
It's
idiosyncrasies.
a tradition that's gone
Yeah,
back for many
exactly.
years. So.
Personally, I think that no matter what has gone on, I mean, this is entirely personal, no matter what has gone on at the ATCM, which is the legal, and there could be upset or hearts broken, who knows. But when it comes to the mayor making, then I think the council should be putting a good show forward and saying we vote for whoever the mayor is.
Yes, it only changed 5 years ago, didn't it?
Okay, so I think the proposal is that, is building what Councillor Carr said, that we'll have them separated out in 2 different evenings. The first will be the legal required annual town council meeting, which will be on Wednesday the 12th of May 2027 at 6 p.m. And then the mayor making ceremony will be the following night, Thursday the 13th of May 2027, but at 7 p.m. So that's the proposal. Somebody have to second that? Councillor Carter, propose on that? Thank you, and abstention?
It's green.
Are you saying?
Green, yes. So that's,
You're green.
Yes,
Well,
green.
green.
Thank you very much.
Ms Mayor, should we contact your chapter to make sure we get the civic
Yes.
It's following Sunday and not like a month after.
Yes.
Continuing.
Thank you very much. Okay, next agenda item is agenda item 13, that's outside bodies representation. So we've got a report from the town clerk. Would you like to just take us through that? What you'd like to achieve?
Just that there are a few vacancies. I think one of the things of the annual town council meeting being compressed for time, and we won't have to worry about this next year, we weren't able to review the outside bodies representatives at the annual town council meeting, so this was postponed from that meeting. We have vacancies, 1 councillor vacant on the Sandwich Festival Association, 1 representative required for the a response from Sandwich United Charity on that, so I don't know.
We'll start at the top. Okay, so first
Any
of all,
volunteers?
yeah, so Sandwich Festival Association, do we have a volunteer?
May I ask, this has been moribund. I asked this question last year. This group doesn't meet at all. I think it's been subsumed into another group.
Do you have
If
a
it
volunteer?
has been,
I think Councillor
then we
Price.
should come to justice. I'm happy to be the person, but
So, the reason that we had representatives initially on the festival, which was established in 1994, and the Lights, which was established sometime in the 1980s, was because it was in receipt of grant funding from STF. And then latterly the Folk and Isle Festival was coming forward. I do, however, feel that if we are now using the Maddox charity, does that then present a case for every Maddox applicant to have an STC representative on its committee? Because I think that's what you could end up tying yourself into. Now, there has been a significant change in the structure of the Sandwich Community Events Association, which at the moment is absorbing the Sandwich Festival into it's becoming an SCA arranged event at the moment in the absence of the Sandwich Festival Committee. I would advocate that perhaps it's time to stop the separation and have representatives on the SCEA, who are the governing body. It's well managed. Jack Shepherd is doing a superb job as chairman. He's really revolutionised what the SCEA is now, and that would be my recommendation.
And that would impact also
That would follow all of the events.
Folk and Ale,
Folk and Ale, the 50s,
Christmas lights.
Christmas lights, everything comes under the SCEA.
I'm happy to move from Festival Association to this group.
So can I give you an action, because you're directly linked in Councillor Moorhouse, to discuss it with them and to come back to the next meeting and if so, then we will not need to have these recognised in our outside bodies representation. Yep, thank you. So that leaves the Christmas lights aside, and leaves the Furcanail aside. Sorry?
Can I just say, because of Councillor Black's work on the tourism forum, you'd be very welcome.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. The Sandwich Units United Charity.
So we can speak on that, please,
Yes,
Mr. Mayor.
please.
So I spoke to the chair of the Sandwich United Charities a couple of weeks ago. We're in holiday at the moment, and they are still set in their ways. They've changed their constitution for no representation from Sandwich Town Council, and they are sticking to their guns.
So my personal view is I don't see why we go through this. We've done it. This is the 4th year that we've done it.
Yeah, I'll just talking on the same thing. They have actually just had a change of trustee, so they have actually taken on a new trustee on the 30th of April 26. But obviously, Sandwich Town Council wasn't included in that. So
we have been taken out of their constitution as a representative.
So they made it. They 2 years, 3 years ago now, however long it's been. They made a change in their constitution. They had a meeting, and they all agreed that they would have no further representation from Sandwich Town Council at any Sandwich United Charities meetings or representation in the future.
Yeah. I think it's such a shame, because when you think,
It is.
it was all done through Sandwich Council, wasn't it? The old borough council, and it goes back hundreds of years, the original chapter for the United Charities. We always had 4 representations of councillors. Sometimes the council stayed on even after they left the council, and I think a couple of them are still actually as trustees.
They are.
But I did raise this, but it just seemed, I think it's political. It's a shame.
It is
It's a shame.
I agree.
You look at it, and you go to one of them houses up there, and the cottage, and the mayor actually lived up there. And
So we have tried for a number of years to have a sensible discussion with them. The door has been clearly locked. So I personally don't feel we need to pursue it any further because we're not actually dealing with. Yeah, we should drop it off. But
Yeah, as Councillor Franklin said, the Town Council, the Borough Council previously, and SUC were very much intertwined historically. If you go up in the attic, there's dozens of documents about SUC. So the fact that they've now distanced themselves is sad, but also they're sitting on assets and a couple of million, I think, in the bank, which could be used for the people of Sandwich, and I don't know what use they're making of this money, if any.
Yeah, I presume you're entitled to go to their own general meeting to ask that question.
Yeah, I think we should be asking questions.
I believe that this is breathtaking hypocrisy, because some of the people involved in the SUC have always been sceptical of this council, this independent council, doing away with all the traditions of Sandwich. And here they are, completely ignoring the traditions of Sandwich.
I think we all
Don't-
share.
Don't pretend that you lead by saying things. You lead by doing things.
Take this last
I
one.
was just going to point out the irony that I think a number of the trustees were appointed as representatives from this council because they were councillors at the time.
Exactly.
And they've now decided they don't want any more councillors and that they'll stay on as trustees. So the whole thing is complete shenanigans.
They did have 3 blocks of buildings. They had the St Bart's, they had the St Thomas's, and they had the one at St John's across the road. And I don't think they got that much money because they sold St John's up, didn't they, to raise money. I mean, I think they were like a farmer, they're land rich, but actually monetary poor. They've got properties, but I don't think they've got that much money.
But if you look at the charge commission accounts,
If you look at the accounts, it does suggest. So final comment from Councillor.
Yeah, could I just make it quite clear, please, that from on my perspective, that I am a personal friend for the chair of the Sandwich United Charities, but I do agree with what you are saying. I don't disagree with any of the comments that have been made here regarding the relationship between STC and the Sandwich United Charities. However, I do know that the Charity Commission has accepted their new constitution and they've approved it. In regards to the relationship the STC has with regarding ceremonial things like St Bart's Day and stuff, That will still remain in, and the mayor and the council will be invited to all those meetings, I do believe, of those events.
Okay, thank you. So unless anybody's declining their name being listed on any of these, I'm happy to propose that we move
Happy to
forward.
second.
Sorry, Mr Mayor, one more thing, apologies. There is a vacancy on the Port Haven Commissioner's thing. It's been advertised by Dover District
Yes.
Council.
I've seen that.
I have applied for it myself in a personal capacity.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay, so I propose, seconded by Councillor Carter, good votes.
I have now.
I thought you got seasick when you got more, but anyway.
I have now, Jeff.
Okay, moving on. Agenda item 14, noise complaints. So, can I just say that before we discuss this, that we're receiving a report on the handling and management of noise complaints at events. Key thing is, please note we are only discussing the general principles, the policies and procedures this evening, not any specific cases. And we should not discuss any individual residents or any event organisers. And I would like the town clerk to introduce the report, if you could.
Okay.
Is this your report?
Hi, great. Okay, basically, when somebody, a hirer, takes the Guildhall, forecourt, or any venue in town, they then contact DDC to create an event management plan, and part of that is a noise management plan. If an individual, a resident, has a problem, then they go to DDC Environmental Protection, and it's our Environmental Protection's duty to investigate that complaint. Basically, that is where the relationship lies. It's between the complainant and DDC. STC are hirers of the forecourt. DDC have been very kind and said that they will forward all event management plans to us going forward so that we have those. But at the end of the day, it's just for our information. It is between the hirer and DDC to make sure that everything is in place for a well-run event. Anything else?
I think only just that whilst we might well be informed about a complaint, and we might see documentation around it, we will not be investigating it ourselves, and we have no statutory responsibility in the investigation either. So that's it in a nutshell. There are a couple of things that we've been asked to do, but I'll take some comments to start with.
Yeah, my comment, Mr Mayor, so as an event manager or event organiser, same for Councillor Moorhouse and Councillor Carter, it is well known that each time there is an event on, there are surprise visits for environmental health and also environmental enforcement regarding noise and stuff. When I used to do it, I used to carry all the licences and all the paperwork with me, and it'd be on hand to show at any time if anyone requests it. Regarding TENS licences, etc., etc. On the folk and hours point of view this weekend, they've asked me to say that this weekend there is no amplified music in the street name. There will be amplified music within the establishments, but that's up to the establishments, and they follow the guidance and the laws that the DDC require. My personal comment is this has been going on for a long time with a certain person. However,
we're not discussing any. This is not about cases. This
No.
is about procedures and
Really,
our
please
role.
be careful.
This is our role.
but I'm allowed to say it as a resident of this town, and I'm not going to name names or anything like that. However, if you purchase a property within the town that holds establishments, is that I've said the town, not the in question.
It's Councillor Marie, for tonight, that isn't relevant. What we're talking about is policies, procedures, process, and what we're establishing, in fact, is the town council does not have a statutory role in that. The relationship is between anybody that complains, not any individual, but anybody that complains with Dover District Council. We do not need to take it to a place of talking about any particular circumstances, even if they're guarded statements. We should not be talking about any suggested individuals.
And I'm not
History.
mentioning names or where locations at all, but however, the town is a busy town, it has a lot of entertainment in the town, and it's quite annoying that this keeps happening, basically. And all the events that I know and I've worked at have abided by the law that DDC have given regarding the environmental enforcement and noise complaints.
And I think that's the key point. If there is a complaint from anybody, if it's proven, then action is taken. If it's not proven, then it's not a valid complaint, and that's the reality. So, any other comments? If not, are we happy? There are two things we've been asked to accept. Councillor.
Can I just ask, we specifically suggested that we make compliance with noise control measures, but surely we want compliance with all DDC measures and all other legal requirements. I'd be a little bit unhappy about singling out one issue.
Okay. So that's for the second part of the
Yeah.
recommendation. So could you just play that back from Town Clerk?
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah, I think just to focus on one issue leads you into other consequences.
Rubbish or waste disposal or toilet
Absolutely.
provision or...
You have to comply with everything that DDC, KCC and whoever else, has a legal responsibility. Let's face it, you've got health and safety and electrical issues. They've got to comply with that as well.
Councillor Moorhouse.
Yes, they have to.
Yeah, so as an event organiser, I submit an event management plan, and then I get feedback if there are any questions from that. I have to show that we've been responsible in every aspect of what DDC require of us.
Yeah.
Because if we fail to do that, then we're putting ourselves at huge risk. So we comply with everything that DDC.
Okay.
And just to make it clear, it is known as well that when someone hires the land, it is the event or the person's responsibility to make sure that the waste is cleared, and it's the safety advisory group are the ones that would say yes or no regarding the event within the town, because they're conducted with the NHS, the police, the fire, and on waste disposal as well. And most of it now is you have to bring in your waste disposal, or there is a charge from DDC. So it's all above board. DDC have done well in that aspect, but it is the responsibility of the person that hires the land. It's not the responsibility of the landowner for that event.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we've got two requests here, recommendations. First is to note the report, that there are different roles of the hirer, STC and DDC for events and environmental protection should a potential complaint be made. So I'm happy to propose that we note the different roles.
I'll second that.
Councillor Black. Okay, then the second recommendation was to include a clause to future hire agreements. We're expanding that now to make sure that any hirer must comply with any measures required by Dover District Council.
As per Dover District Council's event management plan.
Just before we do that, I think just there's a little bit of clarity there, because I think that I'm pretty sure that or if not, it's an easy amend to say that you must comply with all the things. This proposal is, do we want a specific over and above you must obey the law about noise control?
So our higher terms and conditions is pretty clear, and they are quite robust. Most of us have worked on it for a few years now, since we started charging for the hiring of the forecourt. My thing would be to run as per the terms and conditions of the Dover District Council event management plan application, because it all says it there: noise, waste, and obviously another subject. Councillor Moorhouse will elaborate a bit more, I think.
Just to put it very simply, the terms and conditions is that we must comply with the requirements of Dover District Council's emergency safety advisory group.
Yeah.
Event safety advisory group.
Okay,
So we do not want to go...
No,
We can't single out one thing, we have to do a quarter. Councillor, that's quite right, we have to do the whole board.
So with that amendment,
That's it.
yeah, with that amendment proposed, is somebody happy to propose that amendment is made to the terms and conditions? So that was Councillor Moorhouse proposed,
Second.
Councillor Rees second.
Please, sorry, could you please know I'm abstaining on both this, because I haven't seen the hire plan for the Guildhall, so I don't want to vote on something that I haven't seen, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're doing it that it's all the amendment is to be all requirements, not one specific.
And if there's a request there, it might be worth circulating that round to.
Yes, please. Yeah, that's really all I was
See what's in there, so we've got the knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to agenda item 15. So I'll introduce this one. This is the DDC Parking Strategy. So this report is about removing any doubt about the position this council has consistently taken on the Dover District parking changes impacting Sandwich. As you'll see in the report, it's not about reopening the debate or questioning the decision that's been made by Dover District Council. This has been through various stages of consultation and through various stages of governance and challenge within Dover District Council. So the purpose of the report is to remind everyone, particularly others outside the chamber, that we've raised concerns at every stage of the process about the impact these changes could have on our residents, businesses and visitors. Now that the new arrangements have been in place for a while, we're continuing to hear those concerns. So I'm asking members to reaffirm our previous position, agree the draft public statement, and call on Dover District Council to carry out a proper evidence-based review of the impact. That's what the report says. I won't go through it in any more detail, but happy to take any comments on this. If not, so somebody has to propose.
I'm happy to propose this, and I hope that this will be publicly recognised that Sandwich Town Council is making a big effort on the parking strategy.
I know you've attended an overview and scrutiny meeting.
I did.
I've had numerous meetings with officials within
You
Dover.
have.
Been joined by Councillor Mallet on those.
Exactly.
And I am seeing the leader of Dover District Council on Wednesday this week, and this is the main topic of discussion.
Excellent, excellent work.
But before we go to that, I think Councillor Lars actually had a comment.
Yeah, I very much welcome this statement because it shows that we have objected to these changes at every stage of the process.
Yeah.
As I think the Mayor said, there is some speculation within the town. There's a certain so-called petition that's been circulating. It's not a petition. It quite clearly does not meet the rules set by Dover District Council for petitions, because it contains questions within that, yes or no, do you support this or oppose it, and yet it's being marketed as a petition against the parking changes, and also there's an implication in there that STC has not done enough to oppose these changes.
Yeah, okay.
So I think I very much welcome this statement. It's very clear.
So I think we'll take that out with this discussion, because actually the petition is a parallel activity that's being run away from this council. We have done meaningful, measurable activities over 14 months, from as early as the start of 2025. We've recognised and we've done that. Councillor Anderson.
Yes, I was just going to propose an amendment to the statement, because I think I picked up on comments on Facebook that some people think that there's been a 3-hour maximum stay imposed on all the projects in Sandwich, and it hasn't been. So I would like, I'm not sure which paragraph it is, where it says the council also, this is in the proposed statement.
Yep.
The council also remains concerned that the introduction of a 3-hour maximum stay in the Guild Hall car park.
Happy to do that.
And there may be another place that doesn't be.
Yeah, I'll
but it has
review
to
it.
be
Yeah, I'm
clearly-
specific. Yes, Councillor Marie.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your comments. I brought this up at the Townscote Heritage meeting and asked if it to be escalated up to here to the full council on the basis that members of the residents of the town were concerned that the council weren't speaking on their behalf and speaking about the parking charges when they were implemented. So I welcome this statement, and I hope the statement will clear a lot of people's worries regarding what the council has done, because the council was very quiet, and I do feel now that when this statement goes out, people then realise that the council has been working. Yes, it has been quiet working in the background, but we have been working to try and resolve these issues.
And I will say on Saturday I spoke to a dozen shopkeepers to make them very clear that we've been active. So I think there's a number of us here who have been vocal.
Yeah.
I think the choice of words have been quiet by people away from here has been a little disingenuous. And this report sets the record straight in terms of all the activities we have done. It's on video when we've discussed it. We have written, so I don't think there's much more we can do.
No.
Happy to recommend the proposals. The recommendations.
Councillor Wiles, the vote on it. Thank you very much. The next item relates to the upcoming by-election. So Town Clerk, would you like to use a verbal report on that?
Yes, sorry, yes, so the reason this is a verbal report and not a written report is that I received the election closed, the notice of vacancy closed on the 16th. The papers for this meeting went out on the 17th. And the notice of election was given to me to put up on the 18th, and so it was I was unable to provide a written report for inclusion in the papers, so that's why it's a verbal report. We are having a by-election on the 23rd. The hub has been booked as the polling station, which is obviously got disabled access, which is good. The only really outstanding issue is whether or not we want to print polling cards or not. I asked the electoral services to do, this is an estimate of costs depending on how many people request postal votes, how many electors we have. So it isn't an estimate of the costs, and the costs may vary, but the estimate of the cost of this election will be £8,214.34p. The electoral services then asked whether or not council would like to have printing or postage, poll cards printed. We don't have to. If the election is uncontested and we have chosen to have poll cards printed, we have to say whether or not we're going to do it. The deadline for getting the printing done is before the uncontested election. So we run the risk of printing poll cards, and if it is uncontested, they will then go to waste. But that, I'm afraid, is where we are. So if we don't have poll cards printed, we can reduce the £8,214 by £2,619.57p, approximately.
And I would just add that in terms of the budget, each year we have estimated costs of running by-election, and we have given £5,000 in our budget. So just to be very clear, that if we do invest the full amount that we've been asked to do there or thereabouts, then we will have to seek that money from elsewhere from the budget. Okay, so Councillor, your hand was up first.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in regards to, yes, this is an income, as I say, for by-election. There is a lot of talk at the moment that this council doesn't want the by-election, the poll cards to be posted out, and this election to be kept quiet. So for us as to be a transparent council, I do recommend that this council agrees that we allow the poll cards to be printed so they could be issued out to the residents, just purely to stop a lot of speculation and a lot of talk within the town.
Sometimes the dog's tail doesn't need to wag the top of the dog, but that's just a personal reflection. Councillor Moorhouse.
Mine is a more pragmatic view, nothing to do with party politics and all this shenanigans, which I don't believe. The fact is that it's Sandwich North, and without wanting to be rude, there are the demographics of Sandwich North, and I would think that most people, being traditional, would want to see poll cards.
Okay.
Put that forward as a good
That's a good point. Councillor Wiles.
So nominations close at 4 o'clock on Friday this week. Are you saying that we have to tell them before that whether we want poll cards or not?
In order to get the poll cards printed in time, we're going to need to tell them
Before.
soon.
So they'll be printed even if there's no
Yeah, that's the point.
or one nomination.
Yes.
I think we have to print them.
It's the whole question about trade-offs, which we all know about, given what goes on nationally. So if we spend this additional money,
No,
on
it's
poll
not
cards-
additional to the 8,000, it's included. Yeah. We
Yes,
can reduce
so
our.
we have a budget of 5,000.
Yes.
So there's a shortfall of 3,000. So where would the 3,000 come from?
We will have to see where we can find it in the budget at some point, or it will have to come out of reserve.
We do have reserves, surprisingly to one of our observers, we do have reserves that are
Yes.
not zero.
It's been 5,000 a year, so
Okay, so we
it's
have
15,000
yeah.
has been there effectively.
No, because it doesn't roll.
I know.
Each year you set a budget.
Of course, but
We'll have to review the budget next
we
year.
haven't had.
You have to review the budget next year because it
We
is
haven't
election
actually
year
seen the
next
last
year,
3
so
years.
it will cost a lot more probably next year.
Yes, exactly. We didn't know what the cost was until it happened, and now it's happened, so, yeah. Any other comments? Councillor Peter?
It seems crazy to me that we can't wait till after to see if we're going to get any candidates before we get the poll card printed, because we could waste over £2,500, which may be unnecessary. I mean, sure, who prints the poll cards? Is it Dover District Council in-house printing?
I
Can't we get them printed ourselves after the thing? Would it be true?
No, I mean, it's done by DDC. I
Full
can
Council.
certainly ask the
Democratic
question of
Services.
electoral services.
Should be.
So
Yeah.
So I think we can continue on. My proposal is that we accept the full cost, but we ask the town clerk to challenge about the deadline to see if there's any scope, because we will know this Friday whether there's one or more. And if there is more, then we have to take that. We will have to find the extra funding from somewhere within our budget. Anybody
Happy
else
to second that.
Vote on it. Thank you very much. Thank you. So final item, date of next council meeting, Monday the 20th of July, 2026 at 7 p.m. And I said we'd finish at 8:30 tonight before we started.
2 minutes late, slacking, Mr. Mayor.
I'm going by that.
I'm going by that clock.
Thank you, meeting ended.